One of the most difficult and challenging parts of parenting is discipline because it's inherently stressful and it only comes up when there's a problem, an issue, an interpersonal something or the other. And so parents who have difficulty managing their own stress are going to get a little upset and flustered and overwhelmed and just resort to habitual ways of expressing their upset, which often are counterproductive. So, how do we learn new and better disciplining methods and techniques? But more importantly, how do we get to these deeper underlying stress management issues and emotional self-regulation and emotional expression issues, like how do you deal with your own upset before you can help your child deal with their upset. So just learning the techniques is not going to be so helpful. It's not going to work unless you able to address those deeper issues firstly calm yourself down enough to be able to think and to work with your child, not against your child. Remember, you're on the same side. So the goal and the point of discipline and punishment is to teach your child something and to help them to improve their behavior in some way. And so, like, if you get mad and you just punish them for the thing, and so, but you don't make the connection to the specific action of theirs or behavior that was wrong or that caused you to be upset, then there's this loose association between okay, so I did this thing and daddy got angry about it. So there's an kind of extrinsic punishment. But yeah, so the first thing you want to do is you want to calm yourself down, but also you want to express your emotion, your upset. And so if you're angry, you have to show that you're angry. The child has to feel your anger, and that's going to give them a healthy sense of fear and shame. For example, there's this big precious vase and she's pushing it and you're trying to tell her not to do that. And so, if she doesn't listen, she's going to break it and maybe it belongs to somebody else or whatever have you. And so she needs to listen and or she's running off into the street and she doesn't understand the danger yet of what could happen to her. And so, yeah, on the one hand, you want to express your anger, but also you want to express your care and your love for her that I want to protect you. I don't want you to get hurt. You know what's going to happen to you if that truck hits you? And you can even show her a picture of what happens to a person who gets hit by a truck or a car. You want to instill this healthy sense of fear and even shame and guilt if they did something wrong, like if they hurt another child and pulled their hair or yeah, so there's definitely value in discipline, but it all depends how you go about it. So not crossing that line where your anger becomes damaging to the child or wounding or you don't want to break her down, you want to build her up. You don't want to break her spirit or crush her spirit. You want to lift her spirit, you want to uplift her. And so there's a way to do discipline and share these difficult emotions and teach the lesson. So there must be a clearer connection between what behavior was out of line and why it was out of line, but not so intellectual, more emotional, more feeling, because kids don't yet understand things so much. But in their own way, then they will make an intrinsic connection and they will be more motivated to. So it's not a mechanical obedience to your discipline, but an internal agreement kind of with what you've taught them and instilled in them. So we call this natural consequences, which is kind of tricky to do. And so the consequence of pulling a child's hair is that you hurt that child and you damaged your relationship with that child. So you got to show her that consequence by bringing that child and letting her explain what she felt, and or if she's angry and upset, and she says, "I'm not going to play with you anymore because you pulled my hair." Or bring the parent, and the parent says, "How could you do this to my child? How could you throw a stone at my son?" And she gets the natural consequence of her wrong behavior. Or she's writing on the wall, someone else's wall, like maybe at your house, you don't mind. I had a friend who's an artist, and she lets her son doodle all over the walls, and then I came along and started coloring in and doing it. Was really interesting. But anyways, so the consequence or the punishment can be that she has to clean it herself.